These pennies are all dated 1862. Some are in better condition than others, but you can read the dates on all of them. And there are some errors and varieties to look out for. The first one we'll look at is the Victoria error. That's not a spelling mistake by me, that's a spelling mistake by the Royal Mint. Here's an example. Okay, let me spin that around. And there you can see a G has been minted instead of a C. This is a relatively new discovery. It's not mentioned in many of the older coin books, like the bronze coinage of Great Britain, for instance, by Michael J. Freeman. That doesn't mention it. Some of the newer books do mention it. It's a bit bizarre, this one, potentially resulting from a flawed effort to fix the G in Reg, which is located on the left side of the incused die, opposite the C in Victoria. So someone was trying to fix the weakly struck G in the word Reg, but got it on the completely opposite side of the coin. Seems a very strange error, but no one can think of a better reason of why it happened. Let's have a look at some examples and how much they sold for at auction. Okay, first one, you can clearly see there's a G and not a C. It's in terrible condition, but this coin sold in February 2019 for £600, even in that condition. And let's have a look at the reverse. There we go. Terrible condition coin, but a very nice selling price. And the next one. The G is even clearer on this one. And if I zoom out, better detail on this coin. But as you can see, it's in a very badly damaged condition. But even so, this one sold also in February 2019 for £650. Let's have a look at the reverse. And there it is. Those two were in poor condition, but still nice selling prices. The best quality one that went up for auction, as far as I know, was in fine condition. So let's take a look at that. There it is. I don't even need to zoom in on this one. You can clearly see the G in the place of the C. Oh, let's zoom in anyway. There we are. Oh, I'd love to own this coin. As I said, this was deemed to be in fine condition, and this sold at the London coin auctions in March 2023 for £3,200. Fantastic. So if you've got a nice condition 1862, check to see if it's the Victoria error. And there's the reverse. A little bit of damage on there, but still a very lovely coin. So that's 3 examples. People think because it's such an obvious error, not many got through quality control. But some obviously did, and I'm pretty sure there's more out there waiting to be discovered. Sadly, a lot of the 1862 pennies that exist is pretty much impossible to read. So you never know if that was one or not. Was that a Victoria error? We'll never know. The 1862 penny was very highly minted. Over 50 million were made. So even ones in this condition only going to sell for around £2 or £3. On this one, the one on the top, the 2 is very weakly struck and is spaced to the right a little bit more than the other digits, but it is quite common, so it doesn't really add any value to the coin. Let's have a look at another type of error coin, this time the 8/6. There it is. Very hard to see this one, so we really do need to zoom in. There we are. Now, it's thought that a 6 was minted where the 8 should be, and to correct the error, an 8 was punched over the top of the 6, but it didn't really work properly. And if you look very carefully, you can just see the 6 underneath the 8. Very hard to see. You're going to need a microscope or a very strong magnifying glass for this. It's very rare, but it's almost impossible to see on worn coins. One thing to note about this, all known specimens have that wide gap between the 6 and the 2. That's the first thing I look for because it is easier to see. And this actual coin sold in March 2021 for £1,400. And if you want to see the obverse, there it is. There is a known error where the 2 has been minted over a number 1, but I couldn't find a clear enough image of that to show you. So the next one for the 1862 penny is the small date error. Now, how can I show you this? I think if I drag a normal one, put it over the top like that. So the one on the top are the normal size numbers for the date. There we are. And the one underneath, smaller numbers and fatter. It's thought that the small, fatter digits were used in error, and they used the font of the halfpenny or the halfpenny. But again, I think this is very hard to see. This actual coin, which was said to be in fine condition, sold in June 2017 for £1,600. It is rare, but very hard to spot. There's the obverse. And here's another one, much worse condition. This one's sold September 2023 for £180. But £180, that's not bad for a terrible condition coin like that. The Queen is not looking amused. Next, we have the B over R error. This is self-explanatory. This is where R was minted at the beginning of the word Brit instead of the B. And to repair this error, a B was punched over the top. You can see it there. Now, I do have a clearer image. There, you can see an R was originally minted and then a B punched over the top to correct the error. And you can clearly see the tail of the R sticking out underneath. When this penny was sold 10 years ago, it's thought only 2 of these errors existed. I'm not sure if any more have turned up since, but I think they will, so keep checking. This one sold at the London coin auctions in March 2014 for £2,600. And there's the reverse. Now, all of the 1862 pennies have what Freeman's catalogue refers to as reverse G, and there's a reverse G. And nearly all have obverse 6, and there's obverse 6. But a very few have obverse 2, and this appeared on the 1860 and 1861 pennies. So let me show you the difference. Very subtle. On the right, we have the common obverse 6, common for 1862 pennies anyway, and on the left, the rare obverse 2. Now, the first thing I look for is this gap above Victoria's head. On the common one, from this line, from the circle here to the top of the head, it's just 0.9 millimeters. But on the obverse 2, much bigger, 1.5. And I can instantly tell the difference there. It's quite easy to spot that one. Okay, another one is look at the B. The B in Brit. There's a clear gap there, clear gap in obverse 2, but on obverse 6, it's almost touching the Queen's head. Another thing, look at the leaves in the Queen's wreath. This bottom leaf, if you look where it's pointing to, it's pointing above the dot after DG. But in the rarer one, the bottom leaf is pointing directly at the dot. There are quite a few other things, but these 3 things are easy to spot on worn coins. But for me, the easiest thing to spot straight away is this gap. Small gap, large gap. And this actual penny that had the pairing obverse 2 and reverse G sold in June 2017 for £950. Again, definitely one to look out for. Okay, there's a few varieties and errors of the 1862 penny to look out for. There's certainly more out there and more that will be discovered, so keep looking. I've probably made some mistakes. If I have, please put me right in the comments. And any more information you have, put that in the comments as well. And please subscribe. I really would appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.